5 years ago, almost to the day, I stood here at the market auctions to introduce my first proper YouTube video, taking a look at some of the cars they were selling that week. This time, I've come to look at one car in particular, a noughties James Bond car that's now amazingly affordable. At the Geneva Motor Show in March 2001, Aston Martin introduced their new flagship Grand Tourer to the world, the Ian Callum designed V12 Vanquish. This was Aston's first car to be constructed using bonded aluminium and carbon fibre, but their last to be hand-assembled at their Newport Pagnell factory in what was quite a labour-intensive and time-consuming process. The price when new was £160,000, which would be well over £300,000 in today's money. Now, 25 years on, you can pick up a decent V12 Vanquish for under £40,000, and I've even seen one sell at auction last year for less than £30,000. But, should you buy one? First off, let's take a look at what you get with the V12 Vanquish. Well, as the name suggests, you get this V12. So it's a 5.9 litre, or 6 litre they call it, V12, and it's mated to a 6-speed automated manual gearbox. Now, what does automated manual mean? Well, it means flappy paddles, basically a paddle shift on the steering wheel, behind the steering wheel. And it was one of the first that was sort of introduced in this way. I think the Ferraris has got it with their F1 gearbox. And the kind of general rule or general sort of guidance seems to be, if you treat it as a manual and change gear like you would a manual by, letting off the throttle a little bit as you change gear, it's fine. If you think it's like the new, double clutch systems, then it's going to be a bit clunky by comparison. So this engine's good for about 450 brake horsepower, or 400 pound-foot of torque, which is about 540 Newton meters. And it will do 0 to 60 in about 4.5 seconds, up to a top speed of apparently 190 miles an hour, although some have said towards 200. Now, this particular car that's at the market auctions comes from a private collection. It's got 52,000 miles on it. It's had about 10 owners, and the exterior, well, it's debatable whether that's tungsten silver, like the one in Die Another Day, the Bond film, or it could be, as someone has had it matched to Ferrari titanium grey. Whichever, it looks really good. It's probably not dissimilar anyway. And it's got a full service history from Aston Martin themselves, plus marque specialists after that. Now, the car isn't without its issues. There's a few markers on its history. First one was some cosmetic fire damage. Something else was burning, so they got a Cat N at that point. Now, it also got a Cat S from a front end shunt. So a Cat S is a structural problem, but it was obviously fixed. I think it was fixed by Aston Services Dorset, proper Aston specialist, to be able to be put back on the road. Now, the evidence you can see of this is some little bit of sort of non-alignment of panels there, look. But otherwise, who's going to look that closely? Should you be worried about an insurance category write-off? Well, I did do a video on it, but you'll likely get a much cheaper car, and I think you won't be quite so precious about using it. So if we take a look at the interior, it's a dark grey leather, and this is a 2+2. There are options for a 2+2 or just a 2-seater. Now, as you can see, I've got to be honest, the +2 is a little bit of a silly thing because you've got to have really small people in the back for it to work. Now, admittedly, I am 6'6" and I've got long legs, but I cannot even. I can get in. The person in front of me would have to be right up to the dashboard, and look, there is absolutely zero headroom in the back for anyone probably taller than about 5 foot. So it's a little bit disingenuous in a way to say that this is a 2+2. Now, one of the key differentiators of the V12 Vanquish from some of its competitors is the sound that it makes, not just on startup, but also when it hits the road. Such a glorious tone from the exhaust and from the engine. So what about running costs? Well, this particular car has just had a basic service, which cost just over £700, and it had an MOT as well, plus some new track rod ends and wheel alignment, which took it up to £1,775. The previous work 2 years ago was a similar number, but the year before that was nearly £10,000, but that included the structural work after that Cat S incident. So annual vehicle tax for these earlier cars is £445, fuel consumption about 15 miles per gallon combined, so you probably need to budget a bit for petrol and around £1,500 a year for tax and servicing. So the market's guide for this particular car is £35,000 to £40,000. Now that possibly sounds like a little bit expensive because of the issues and the sort of history of insurance category write-offs, but it is a well looked after car otherwise. It's been properly serviced. That £35,000 to £40,000 is the same kind of money you'd have to find to buy a brand new Mazda MX-5 or a base model BMW 2 Series. Now sure, an Aston Martin DB9 will be cheaper, but they're much more common and not such an engaging drive and less revered from the Aston enthusiasts. And importantly, for most Aston fans, James Bond never drove one. The V12 Vanquish was a turning point for Aston Martin, and it received a very favourable reaction from motoring journalists, with some dubbing it the ultimate Grand Tourer, or a serious alternative to the Ferrari 550, and it had a much better soundtrack. All this could be yours for the price of a Mini Cooper S. Is it a no-brainer? Let me know in the comments what you think. Don't forget to give this video a like and subscribe to the channel for more classic and modern classic car content. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.